In today's video, we're going to take a calm, chart-based look at what's happening with XRP right now and what kind of price scenarios we should realistically be prepared for going into next week. Just a quick reminder before we start this video is for market analysis and education only, not financial advice or a recommendation to buy or sell. Let's begin with the bigger picture. The most important thing to recognize on the current XRP chart is that the trend is clearly bearish. XRP has fallen sharply from previous highs above the $3 level and is now trading around 1.41. This is not just a small pullback. The slope of the decline is steep, and the speed of the move down tells us selling pressure has been aggressive. When we look at the candles, that selling pressure becomes even more obvious. We're seeing a series of red candles, and price is essentially walking the lower Bollinger Band. This usually happens when sellers are firmly in control of the market. Instead of bouncing away from the band, price continues to hug it, which is a classic sign of strong bearish momentum. The Bollinger Bands themselves are also sending an important message. They've expanded significantly, which tells us volatility has increased. At the same time, price is trading far below the middle band, which acts as a moving average and a dynamic resistance level. That middle band is currently around 1.73, and as long as price remains below it, the overall pressure stays to the downside. Now let's talk about key price levels. XRP most recently closed at 1.4122, which sits right on the dotted red line labeled purchase on the chart. During the session, price briefly dipped as low as 1.4054, but managed to close back above that level. This tells us that the market is paying very close attention to this zone. However, if this support fails, the next major level to watch is psychological support around 1.0. You can see a clear horizontal support line near that area on the chart, and historically this level has mattered. A move toward that zone would likely come with increased fear and volatility. On the upside, resistance is much closer than many people expect. The first meaningful resistance zone is between 160 and 170. This area lines up with a previous consolidation range and sits near the middle Bollinger Band. Even if price rebounds, this zone is likely to attract selling pressure again. Looking ahead to next week, the chart is at a critical decision point. Price has dropped nearly 4% in a single session and is now sitting directly on a well-defined support level. From here, there are two main scenarios we should be prepared for. The first scenario is a short-term rebound, often called a dead cat bounce. After such a fast and extended drop, markets often see a temporary relief rally. XRP is currently in oversold territory, and statistically, a bounce from support is common in these conditions. In this scenario, XRP holds the 1.40 to 1.41 level and begins to rebound toward the middle Bollinger Band. A realistic upside target would be in the 1.65 to 1.73 range. It's important to stress that this would likely be a technical rebound, not a trend reversal. The larger trend would still be bearish. The second scenario is bearish continuation. Momentum right now is extremely negative, and volume around 99 million suggests heavy selling rather than light profit-taking. If XRP closes decisively below 140 in the next session or early next week, the current support labeled purchase would be considered broken. If that happens, price could continue sliding toward the next psychological level. In that case, the 120 area comes into play first, followed by the possibility of a move toward the low $1 range. These round numbers tend to amplify fear and emotional selling. So what's the overall takeaway? While conditions are oversold and a bounce is possible at any time, the trend itself is still unmistakably down. We haven't seen strong green candles, sustained consolidation, or any clear base formation yet. Because of that, caution is absolutely warranted. Right now, the most important level to watch is 1.40. If XRP holds this level for the first 1 to 2 days of next week, a relief rally toward 1.70 becomes a reasonable expectation. But if this level breaks and price starts closing below it, the probability of further downside increases significantly. At this stage, XRP may look cheap, but cheap alone is not a strategy. The risk remains elevated and patience is key. Understanding where the market could go next is far more important than trying to catch an exact bottom. In the next video, we'll look at how to recognize whether a rebound is losing strength and which price levels would signal that downside risk is returning. If this analysis helped you, make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below.